Fudge. Ariana Grande has a very public reputation for going after men that are in relationships, and that is what happened with her current boyfriend, Ethan Slater, her co-star in Wicked. There is no more speculation. It has been confirmed by his ex-wife. As many of you might know, Ethan and his wife, his former high school sweetheart that had been with him for over a decade, had just welcomed their firstborn into the world. And months later, Ariana Grande happened. And she too was married to somebody else when their relationship began on the set of Wicked. Ariana very saltily clapped back recently at all of the rumors and speculations. Well, Ms. Grande, no more rumor or speculation. Lily J has just written an essay. We are hearing from her in her own words about the implosion of her marriage. She's got a lot to say, and we'll get into that, but I'm going to share with you the most important sentence that she shares. Lily states that the end of her marriage to Ethan was sudden. Literally, the word sudden. She says, accepting the sudden public downfall of my marriage. And she also shares publicly for the first time that even though she had just given birth and her entire support system was in the United States, she moved to the UK with Ethan so that she could be with him and support his dream after being cast in Wicked. She didn't know anybody in the UK. She had just given birth to a baby. And when they moved to the UK, up until that point, everything was great. And then suddenly, it wasn't. So let's get into it all, bit by bit. Lily J says, in this season of shock and mourning, over a year after the end of my marriage was made public, I deeply miss the life of invisibility I created for myself as a psychologist specializing in women's mental health. Dr. Lily explains how a psychologist is meant to remain a mystery to her clients, so her personal baggage is never seen as an impediment to the doctor-patient relationship. Even getting pregnant caused her anxiety, as her patients would know something pretty big about her. She even deleted her social media to keep that wall up. But her high school sweetheart was a Broadway star on the rise, a very different profession. She writes, my partner was on a different path in which social media and exposure were not impediments, but rather necessities. We puzzled through this predicament on walks, over pizza, in our apartment, and excitedly concocted rules of engagement of how and what he would share about our lives together. It was a tenuous balance, my profession, which requires privacy, and his, which is measured in applause, but it worked well while life was unfolding according to our plans. The couple got pregnant and were very happy. She worried so much about her baby's health and even survived pre-eclampsia, a life-threatening birth complication, but she would soon realize she was worrying in the wrong direction. She writes, quote, as a perinatal psychologist, I knew all the statistics, how vulnerable a marriage is in the postpartum period, how vital community connection is in preventing depression and anxiety, how new parenthood impacts a whole family. But I confidently moved to another country with my 2-month-old baby and my husband to support his career. Consumed by the magic and mundanity of new motherhood, I didn't understand the growing distance between us. And I'm going to make an appeal to men. If all of a sudden an A-list pop star throws herself at you, would you leave your high school sweetheart for the pop star? I think most heterosexual men, most men period, straight or gay, they're dogs. They're dogs, and the power of A-list fame is intoxicating. Am I overestimating or underestimating? Or do you agree with me that you think most men would have dumped her for her? Dr. Lily says that she was blindsided by his wanting to get a divorce. Blindsided. And it's something that she's still trying to work through. Dr. Lily says, quote, "In the countless hours I spend rocking my son to sleep, pushing his stroller, marveling at his sweaty little hands grasping a crayon, I work diligently on my private project of accepting the sudden public downfall of my marriage. This, I tell myself, is nothing to be ashamed of and nothing to hide. Slowly but surely, I have come to believe that in the absence of the life I planned with my high school sweetheart, a lifetime of sweetness is waiting for me and my child." And very telling how she says my child and not our child. And the recent wickedness of it all is making it extra hard for her. Yeah, she goes there. She says, "As for me, days with my son are sunny. Days when I can't escape the promotion of a movie associated with the saddest days of my life are darker. Oh. No one gets married thinking they'll get divorced. In the same way, we don't board a plane expecting to crash. But I really never thought I would get divorced, especially not just after giving birth to my first child, and especially not in the shadow of my husband's new relationship with a celebrity." And the Ariana of it all has been really tough on her, not just personally, but she thinks professionally. She says, "Still, even as someone who spent years researching how people respond to ambiguity, I hate not knowing if the way my story has been told has impacted my opportunity to help others sort through their stories. I have puzzled alone for nearly 2 years about what to say as someone who is by personality and profession equally allergic to being the center of attention and to being erased. I can't say for sure how much my career has been impacted by what's out there online, but there have been hints along the way, like the job offer that dissolved without explanation after yet another tabloid news cycle, or the patient who's scheduled for a first appointment but seemingly vanishes. But she is soldiering on, trying to stay positive, and she says to women that are going through a similar situation, quote, "I can say with both personal and professional authority, you are so much stronger than you assume. Some of what you loved most about your partner was actually your own goodness reflected back to you. It's yours to keep and carry forward." This is not going to last either. We know that, right? How is he going to explain this all to their child when he's older? Thoughts on everything? Let me know in the comments section.